Hi everyone. All right, today we're going to talk about installment loans. So installment loans, we'll get into a more formal definition, but it's essentially any loan that you see around you. Many of the common loans are installment loans. So we'll talk more about that in a second, but that includes car loans, student loans, mortgages, etc., etc. But before we can actually dive into that, we need to know some vocabulary. So first, principal. Principal means the amount of money borrowed or invested. Here we're just talking borrowed because we're going to talk about loans, but I wanted you to know that principal can also mean how much you're investing. All right. Interest. Interest, we all have an idea of that. You might have charged a little brother or a little sister interest at some point in your life where they're like, hey, let me borrow $20. And you're like, sounds good, give me back 25. That's interest. So interest is a fee paid for borrowing another party's money, usually from a bank, right? And keep in mind, interest is an actual dollar amount. It's not a percentage. The word interest means the actual dollar amount. So the example I just gave where you loaned your little sibling $20 and you wanted back 25, that was $5 interest. Next, interest rate. When you take out a loan or you invest, there's usually some sort of rate that tells you how much the interest is going to be. Rate means percentage, right? So interest rate is the percent that a bank or financial institution is going to add to the principal amount. So they might say that the interest rate is 5% or 4%, right? And that's how the interest, the second bullet, is calculated. Okay. Then lastly, the future value. The future value is a fancy way of saying the total amount, which means you have the principal, because that's how much money you borrowed, plus the interest. That will give you the total amount. You pay back the principal, but you also have to pay back the interest. Sorry, my OCD is kicking in. Not that this even matters, but yeah. So principal plus interest is the future value. Okay. So you definitely want to understand all of this terminology for sure. If you have any questions on these, just reach out to me. You could also do a quick Google search. So let's move on to installment loans now that we have an understanding of these components. So, all right, with installment loans, here's what you need to know essentially for the basics of this course. So what is an installment loan? Where do you see them? How do you calculate the monthly payment and interest for an installment loan? What is amortization or amortization? And what is amortization schedule? And how do you create one? Okay, so these are the things we're going to talk about going forward. How do you calculate the monthly payment or the interest? That's actually a separate video. That's the next video that you'll see after this. So that won't be included here today. All right. So what is an installment loan? An installment loan is a loan that is paid off with equal regular payments. Those are the two big words here. Equal, meaning they're all the same, and regular, meaning you pay them on a regular basis, like monthly, right? They're also called amortized loans, okay, or amortized loans, depending on how you say it. And then where do you see them in the real world? Well, mortgages, which are it's a fancy way of saying a loan for a home, right? Auto loan, like a car loan, right? Student loans, which is what you're going to end up doing your project on. Payday loans. Some people say credit cards, but my main issue with it is they're not equal. Like your credit card payment every month can be different, but some textbooks call them installment loans because they utilize like the same formula as an installment loan does. So I will include them here. Alrighty, so that means, like, not to bring your homework up right now, but any problem on your homework or the financial math test or the final exam that talks about a mortgage, auto loan, student loan, those are the only ones you're really going to see. But they're installment loans, and you're going to use what you learn in this video and the installment loan calculation video that's next to answer those questions. So this is the formula for the monthly payment for an installment loan. PMT means monthly payment, how much you pay every month. Now you can see APR is a fancy way of saying interest rate. It means annual percentage rate, right? P is principal. N is however many times you pay it per year, essentially. So like if it's monthly, it's 12. Y is years or length of the loan. I'm not going to make you do it by hand. Feel free to do it by hand if you would like. Just pause this video, screenshot this, or take a picture of it or write it down. You can use this. I'm going to teach you how to do it in Excel in a separate video. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. All right. It takes like a minute in Excel. This slide shows you exactly how to do it in Excel if you want like a write-up or steps. I show you in the next video, but if you want to pause, write these down so that you can have them next to you. Some people really like steps, so that's why I put them in here. But I will walk you through this in the next video. But again, I know a lot of you are visual learners, so you will probably like having the steps next to you as well. Okay, and this will spit out to you the monthly payment. And in the next video, you'll also learn how to take the monthly payment and figure out the amount, the total amount you're going to pay back, and the interest as well. All right. So installment loans have a very specific characteristic that I want to talk about. It's this whole idea of amortization. Okay, that long A word that you saw earlier. So this is what happens early on in the loan when you start paying it back. Oh, let's say your monthly payment's $100. A lot of that is going to end up going towards interest. Yeah, so the principal on your loan, how much you actually borrowed, how the interest rate is calculated off of that principal, you're not paying a lot towards that up front. A lot of it's going to interest. And what you're going to see is that over time, the amount of your payment that goes to interest is going to decrease, because as you get to the end of your loan, you're going to start paying off more of the principal, which is great for the banks, but sucks for us. It's great for the banks because they make sure that they get their interest early. Because by the first, say you have a 5-year car loan, by the first like 3 years, they've gotten majority of the interest from you already. So that if something does go wrong, well, at least they made their money, And why this sucks for us is because that principal going down really slow means that interest is going to stay as high as possible, all right? Because they're constantly taking that interest rate of whatever the principal currently is, right? So one way to actually pay off your installment loans a little bit quicker is to make extra payments. You've probably heard of this before. By making extra payments, you can drastically decrease the length of your loan, but also decrease the amount of interest you're paying in the long run by a lot. Okay, so we're actually going to get into that a little bit today of what that looks like in these optional extra payments, what they can do for you. All right, so to get a really good idea of our payments, each payment, and how much is going to go towards the principal and how much is going to go towards the interest, we look at an amortization schedule. Okay, so to create an amortization schedule, we're going to open up Excel, and then instead of clicking blank workbook, we're going to actually type in amortization schedule and search it, because there's already one on Excel for you. So I'm going to pull up Excel really quick. I might have to adjust this box. Oh, that's not what I wanted. File, new. Okay, so let me pull this so you can see it. Sorry, my computer's being glitchy. So if you get here on Excel, instead of clicking blank workbook like we usually do, let's go into the search bar and type in amortization schedule. Then press enter. And remember, you can pause and rewind this. This second one, loan amortization schedule, that's what you want. So click that, then click the button that says create. This is moving like a little ghostly. All right. So you should be able to see this pretty well. All right. So this is really cool because you can adjust these values up top, this upper left-hand corner, and it can tell you a lot about your loan. So you see how it comes pre-populated with optional extra payments is $100. We need to make this $0. Okay. Let's say we have a $10,000 car loan. Okay. And let's say it's 4% interest, which is a really good interest rate. Loan period in years. So let's say this is a 5-year car loan. Okay. Now what this is going to outline for you is all of your payments. See on the left-hand side it says payment number. So this is every single payment all the way down to the 60th payment because it's 5 years. 5 times 12 payments a year is 60. All right. Now why this is also really cool is here's the first payment. Here's your principal. I'm going to highlight it really quick. And here's your interest. These two together make up your monthly payment, which is going to be here in red. So your monthly payment for this loan is $184. $150 of that goes towards the principal, that 10 grand you borrowed. 33 of it goes towards interest, paying the bank. Now, as you can see, if you look down these columns, the amount that's going towards principal is increasing every payment, and the amount that's going towards interest is decreasing every payment. So by the time you get to the last payment is almost all principal. You've already paid off your interest by then, right? Your $183 almost is going towards principal and 61 cents is going towards interest, right? So almost your whole loan principal is paid off at this point, but the bank got their money a long time ago, all right? The interest has been decreasing a lot towards the end tail of this loan. All right. Some other cool features about creating an amortization schedule is you can put this optional extra payments. So say you made an optional extra payment of, let's say $50. Well, actually, before we do that, let me point something out. So we only have about a minute left, but here's your interest for your current loan, $1,049, and you're making 60 payments. Watch what happens if you make an extra payment of $100. Your interest dropped to $654, a $400 drop. And now you're only paying 38 payments versus 60. That's an optional payment of $100 extra a month. That's a lot. But let's say you even have a $20 payment each month. Your interest still dropped by $100, and now you have 6 less payments. You went from having 60 payments to 54 payments. It's really cool. This is an awesome tool. It kind of is also a little bit of a hack because it shows you your monthly payment and your interest right there without even having to do any calculations in Excel or that crazy long formula that I was talking about earlier to get your monthly payment here. All right, so this is a really cool feature.